Building a table of contents I've seen so many people do by hand, but it literally takes less than 2 minutes for InDesign to build one for you. The key is using styles. If I double-click to get in this text area and look at paragraph styles, you'll see I'm using heading 1 here and heading 2 for the smaller styles. As long as you have styles built in your document, InDesign can generate a table of contents automatically in less than 2 minutes. So set your watch, here we go. Under the Layout menu is Table of Contents. And since I was testing earlier, heading 1 has already been added as an entry into the table of contents. To explain the dialog, other styles are all the paragraph styles you've used in the document. And where it says title, this is what I would like to print here in this area where my table of contents is going. So make sure you've clicked there before you start. I'm going to title this In This Issue. And I also built in this document a TOC or table of contents head style. So it is controlling the formatting. The heading 1 was added as an entry, but I don't want it to look like this heading 1. So InDesign will build for you here in entry style a TOC body text style. Since I've already tested this, the TOC body text is already formatted. What InDesign does is it takes the actual text that is in the style heading 1, puts that in, puts in a tab character, and then the page number where it occurs. Here's how I got this added. To get a longer table of contents, I'll scroll down and locate heading 2, click once on heading 2, and click Add to add it as an entry into the table of contents. For entry style, I'll choose TOC body text. You could format these two differently, but I want them to all look the same. Now when I click OK, all of these entries were automatically added to the table of contents. And that was less than 2 minutes. If I zoom in with Command plus or Control plus and scroll up, you could see music, Styrian Festival, Graz, the second largest city in Austria. And if these double hyphens bother me and I want that to be a proper M dash, I wouldn't make the correction here. I'm going to hold down my Option or Alt key to click and drag down until I see Graz, the second largest city in Austria. And I'll highlight this double hyphen and replace it with the proper typographically pleasing M dash. Under Type, Insert Special Character, Hyphens and Dashes, I'll choose M dash, and that looks great. I also noticed that I missed a heading 1 here. I'll click once on Graz Events and click once on heading 1. And you could either scroll down with the wheel on your mouse or hold down Option on the Mac or Alt on Windows to be able to get the hand tool and click and drag over. In order for this to update, I click once in the table of contents and choose Layout, Update Table of Contents. And when I do, and when I click OK, Graz Events was added, and I can also see my more proper, typographically pleasing M dash was added. If I fit Page in Window, I have other text that I'd like to add. So I'll go to Pages and double-click on page 4, and click once in this text box and choose File Place. I'll place the text called Austrian Beer Guide, and I'll click so that it goes into this tinted box. It already had the bullet style applied, but I'm going to click on this first line and go to Paragraph Styles and scroll up to heading 1. I'll click on the first paragraph and choose Body. And to finish it off, I'll go to my Selection tool, select Nothing by clicking on the white space outside the page, and then select this frame to place my graphic. File Place, and I'll go to my Assets, Chapter 2, Images, and place the beer. And I'll make sure that I don't see a square on my cursor. If I zoom in, you'll notice it kind of has a square edge, but when I cross over this frame, it gets parentheses or a bit rounded. One click makes sure that the beer went inside that frame. I'll zoom back out and I'll choose Object Fitting and fit the frame to the content to make sure I don't chop off any of the image. I'll go to Pages and double-click on page 1, double-click to get inside my table of contents, and choose Layout, Update Table of Contents. And there we have it. Now I'm going to finish this document off with continued on and continued from markers. If I click down here at the bottom left and zoom in with Command plus or Control plus, you'll notice there's an empty text frame. This pound sign means there is no more text. You'll see that under Type if you have your Show Hidden Characters on. So type, Show Hidden Characters, and they're showing. If it says Hide, that would hide them. But I'm going to type Continued on and hit a space and choose Type, Insert Special Character, Markers, and Next Page Number. Read where this thread goes. If I go to my Selection tool and move this box down a hair so that it does not touch, it reports page 1, which is the actual page I'm on. If I move it up a hair, it touches this text frame and reads the thread or the output where this text is continued. So let's see that. If I go to View, Fit Page in Window, I can't see the thread or where the output is linking the text. So I'll choose View, Extras, Show Text Threads. And here I could just wheel down with my mouse and see that the output is going all the way to the top of this box on page 3. And when I get here, I'm going to double-click just above that box and zoom in with Command plus or Control plus and type Continued from. Then I'll choose Type, Insert Special Character, Markers, and Previous Page Number. Read where that thread comes from. It reports that it's continued from 1. I'll go to my Selection tool, pull this up a bit. If they don't touch these two boxes, it reports the actual page number, page 3. But as soon as I pull that down and the boxes touch, it reads this thread that I can see if I zoom out with Control minus, that it's continued from the cover to page 3. And that's all automatic. I'll double-click on page 1 and hit Control 0 or Command 0 to fit in window. And let's take a look at a PDF of this. I'll choose File Export, and I'll simply go to my desktop, and I'll call this Newsletter TOC with my initials. I'll choose PDF for print, and when I hit Save, I need to make sure that Bookmarks is checked. I'm just going to use the high quality print setting, but when I check Bookmarks and when I check View PDF after exporting, I'll be able to see that the table of contents has clickable links. So I'll hit Export, and it should open Adobe Reader or Acrobat Professional, whichever I have installed on my machine. It opened Adobe Reader, and if I mouse over the entries in the table of contents, one quick click will jump me to that page. If I hit the Bookmarks panel on the left, I can see that I've got Gratz Events on page 1 that is a heading 1. And I've got Top Sites in Gratz that's heading 1, and it guides me to that page. So I'm going to go back to InDesign, and this has been your tour of building a table of contents in less than 2 minutes, adding continued on and continued from markers, which are also known as jump line numbers, and then PDFing to get an electronic version of this newsletter. Try this exercise on your own, and I hope you find it very easy. These are very high-end features that are nice and menu guided for you in InDesign.